or the clerk of the commission. Comments by any citizen will be limited to 3 minutes. Do we have any comment cards?
No, sir.
Do we have any visitors?
No.
I'd like to recognize we don't fill out a card.
Go ahead.
I'd like to recognize one of our young doctors in the audience, Dr. Denzel. He's also the developer, a young doctor coming back to our city, looking for opportunities. And we're just glad to have you in the audience, and hopefully you can find somewhere for you to stay in our community. Thank you for coming.
Good to have you.
What, Denzel?
All right, administrative report.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, commissioners. We have a couple items today for you all. I'd like Ms. Bryan to kind of give you an update on our assessments, where we are. Usually we have it done by now, so at this time, Erica, if you can give us an update on where we are with the process.
Commissioners, usually we adopt our millage rates for the year, usually by your second meeting in June. For 2012, since this is a reassessment year, we have to wait to get the reassessment information from the tax assessor to be able to present you all those millages. We received tax assessment information from the assessor, which indicated that the assessment increased about 1.3%. However, we didn't receive information for 3 of our millages. And so we have requested that information from the tax assessor's office, and they're supposed to be getting it to us, and we hope to have the millages before you all for your first meeting in July, but you won't be able to adopt them until first meeting in August. But he has assured us that that's enough, gives him enough time to do what he needs to do in order to get our millages to the state for approval. But that's where we are. For some reason, 3 of the millages, the one for juvenile, the one for health, and the one for the courthouse were not included in the packet when we received it.
All right.
If you have any questions, be more than willing to answer.
My next item, I had a couple of requests for information regarding the Facts of Life program from the commissioners. So I'd like Mr. Cox to come forward at this time and give you an update on the Facts of Life program.
Oh, sure. You want me to do that from here?
Sorry, I had you on my mind.
Oh, you talking about that one?
Mr. Cox, not there you go.
Yeah, we don't want it from you.
Thank you.
We don't want it from you. It'd be X-rated.
Wow.
Yeah. Ms. Cox, the floor is yours.
Mr. President and Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity. You did request that we come back from the last time when we asked for $30,000 to carry us to the end of June, and so we're back with some statistics. And keep in mind that the longer the program is in effect, the more accurate and the better knowledge, I guess you could say, that we have of the kids who participate, and we can give you an accurate picture of the recidivism rate. I'm going to, a couple of slides that the judges did ask Legal Services, Mr. Walker, to put the stats together for us, because they have the capability through IGES to do that. I'm going to turn this on, hopefully. All right, and we're doing this instead of putting this in the computer because there's only one individual back there today. But Facts of Life, if you take a look at this, you'll see this is a breakdown of all the offenses of juveniles that were ordered to go to Facts of Life. The big one is felony property. We have drugs, misdemeanor, and misdemeanor person, and then of course we even put children and FNs, family needed services. Those children that are ungovernable truant or runaways. These statistics start from the first quarter of 2011 through the first quarter of 2012. Now, from the end of March until present, you've got to wait. If you want any kind of accurate or reliable statistics as far as recidivism, you've got to wait for 6 to a year out. We'll give you a much clearer picture. But this is the breakdown of the offenses that kids from court that were assigned to go, or that were ordered to go into Facts of Life. other slide that I think is the one that we want to stress.
Just turned it off. I think you turned it off accidentally.
Sorry. Okay, since the program has been in effect up until the end of the first quarter in 2012, this is our report card, so to speak. This is what Facts of Life, the program, the recidivism rate. Of all that have participated in the Facts of Life, the success rate has been 79%. New offenses, those who have gone back and committed another crime, is 21%. And if you take in consideration that the national average for recidivism rate among juveniles is around 60 to 70%. So this has been an excellent program. We'd like to continue funding this program. We do think that this program has somewhat of an impact, not only in turning young people around, but also keeping the numbers of detention down. At this time, unless you have any questions directly for me, this time I'd like for Rick Foreman to come up.
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
How many, what does this represent in actually numbers of people?
Total numbers, individuals?
Right.
I'd have to ask Clay to assist me on there.
Minds think alike. That was my question, too.
We tracked 129 children that were put on probation in the first quarter of 2011, and by March 31st, 2012, that's the outcome, after a year at least.
All right.
129 children were put on probation in that time period.
Okay. Jefferson?
That's what I
Same question. Okay. Mr. Lynn?
Does every child that goes through the juvenile detention facility, does every child go through the Facts of Life program?
No, sir.
Are there other programs that we use?
Yes, there are.
And what is the success rate comparison between Facts of Life and the other programs?
Again, we'll have to defer to Clay on that, but pretty good.
For kids that are adjudicated, that's as high as it gets.
Okay, well, what is the success rate of the other programs?
We have some diversion programs. For example, the school fight diversion program with VYJ has a 93% success rate. Those are kids that get in a fight at school. They're sent to VYJ. They never come to court because they don't have a prior history. It's determined that we might be able to help them before even coming into court. That has a 93% success rate. But for the kids that come into court and are found guilty, they're adjudicated, 79%, 80% is as high as, that's our highest program.
Do we have graphs that show the success rates broken down in percentages for every single program that we give our youth, that we sentence them to?
We have one right here, actually.
Do you have this laid out for every single program yet?
Yes. For those, let me show you if I can. And we have this on a PowerPoint, but apparently that's not available right now. This is going to be tough to see, but the bottom line is what's here on the left. All of these are the list of programs that a child was put in the first quarter of 2011. They were put in, for example, Stamp Out Shoplifting, MST is Multi-Systemic Therapy, Gateway is a drug program.
If you've given us copies of these, I apologize for asking for it again. However, may I have a copy, and possibly everybody else might want a copy of this as well?
Absolutely. Yes. The bottom line is the blue is success.
Mm-hmm.
When they're put into the program, if they do not pick up another charge within the next year, then we call that a success.
And I've seen this before, and I recognize the red just had one youth go through it. However, could you also factor into this graph the amount of money that it costs to run those programs and break it down in the numbers as finite as what the Facts of Life program is broken down? That way we can see. I have no objection to funding Facts of Life at a price for the success rate. However, if there's a program that we offer that is free to us, whether funded through the state or through the federal government, then that's something, and it has a high success rate. I'd like to see us use that also. And then if there is no program that compares to Facts of Life, then we need to fund Facts of Life at a higher rate so that we can help more of the youth out there and keep the recidivism rate down. And so I need to be able to compare all of the numbers for everything, and this is the same request that I've had for quite some time.
Every quarter, I'll put every single program in which we place a child, I'll put it into our database. So I need to wait till June 30th of this year to track a year from 2011. But you'll get every single program we place a kid in, and I could easily, at the end of maybe half a year, at the end of a year, talk about price per child annually.
Okay. And you said right now it's at every year. Is there a computer to where we could do this quarterly or monthly? Is there a computer set up yet, or are we still driving on a flat tire computer?
No, IGES is working. We're pulling this information from it, but we need the time to track it. So there's no point in tracking 2011 until June 30th to get the second quarter.
I understand.
We are backing up and trying to put 2010 into the computer so that we could have more time, but that's going to take some more time.
Okay. And then after June 30th, we'll be able to do it on a more regular basis rather than yearly. We'll be able to do it monthly, or
we could do it monthly. What we're planning on doing is quarterly.
Quarterly is fine. I mean, just a year is a lot of time to pass
to wait.
No information.
No, I understand. We're waiting each quarter. We'll wait till June 30th. We'll have another round of information, so we plan to do it each quarter.
Okay. Well, I look forward to receiving all of those.
Okay.
Thank you. That's all, Mr. President.
We've got some more questions.
Okay.
Just for the sake of information to the commissioners, I'm using the old screen that we used to use, which makes it easier for me, at least, to identify who the speakers are. So if you want to speak, just go ahead and press your button like you have been, and it will show up on here. We've got Mr. Johnson next.
Yes, Mr. President. Question I asked, you said it was 129 juveniles that went through for the first year?
The first quarter. January 1 to March 31, 2011.
And how many of those went through Facts of Life?
56.
Okay.
You can see these are going to be tough to see, but 44 children were successful in Facts of Life and 12 reoffended. So you have the number in the blue, or the number of children placed in the program that did not reoffend, the number in red reoffended.
Could there have been other children placed in Facts of Life instead of some of these other programs, or was it limited to funds?
I think it was not limited to funds. We did not fill it up. I think that you'd have to ask the judges what you're looking to do. For example, if a child has stolen something, they're put in stamp-out chocolate. If they're having a problem with anger management, we have an anger management. Violence prevention is another, would be you put kids with a violence problem. Facts of Life is a character-building program, and so I think the judges are looking to see if there are certain needs the child has, and that's appropriate for that child.
So is this for violent or non-violent offenses?
It's a little of both. If you look at the charges, there are 12% were felony person. That would be relatively serious offenses against a person. And the misdemeanor person, 40%. So 52% of the kids were charged with some sort of act against another person.
Okay. That's it. Thank you.
Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question would be, what is the cost per inmate for a child, if you had to come up with some type of
the simple math of that, I guess you could say, is, of course, it's a little deeper than that, but you can take the number of kids that we put through in a year and divide that by $60,000, and that's going to come up with your cost per kid. Let's just say it's close to $1,000 per kid, all right? Incarceration is going to run you about $200 per day per kid. So I do think it's a very effective cost-saving program.
Yeah, that's where the lines I'm going on. It costs almost $25,000 to $40,000, whether juvenile or adult inmates, to lock up a person. Quite naturally, I believe most of the kids are African-American kids. A large percentage.
That's correct.
Maybe 90% 85% of the kids there are African Americans.
In detention?
Well, just in all the
Don't mean in the program.
all the needs
We have a
programs,
breakdown
facts
of
of
it.
life, facts of health, whatever it is. Most of the children over there are African Americans.
Total in the court is about actually 78% African American. In the Facts of Life program,
We need all the help we can get, what I'm saying.
87%. Yes, well, yes.
Your facility can't hold the type of inmates, or you only built for so how many, 30, 35 kids?
29.
So you have to have alternative to incarceration with community-based and faith-based organizations to help the load, because 35 beds ain't gonna get it. And you got the right size, because one size don't fit all. So if Facts of Life costs $100,000, it's worth more than having 35 kids at $40,000 a head trying to put them in a facility. So prevention is the key, and what I'm saying is we have to do more, find more alternatives. You guys are doing a great job, and unfortunate, we need to do more in the community at large, so they want to come to you. To come to the churches need to do more. I need to do more. The community-based organization do more. And the mentoring and men need to do more. So we want to see come to your courts. But we're not doing enough. So hopefully, the Facts of Life Sage as one child is cost effective. So I will be supporting the Facts of Life and look forward to any other alternative we can provide to help you guys over there. Violence is not the same as it is when I was growing up. Still a piece of bubble gum. These kids are guns, knives, and conflict. They can't deal with nothing. So we appreciate what you guys are doing. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Mr. Epperson?
Ted, how long has this program been in place?
Since
For 2 years?
over 2 years. Excuse me, Rick, we started in December
April 27th, 2010.
2010, okay.
Okay, so we
Just
just
going back in...
2 years.
Yes, sir. But we don't have stats for the entire time. I was going back to when we started keeping...
But you're going to start keeping stats, though,
Oh, yes,
right?
sir, we're keeping them right now. Yes, sir.
Yeah, 'cause it appears as though you're kind of looking and picking, you know what I mean? So,
No, I mean, I'm not sure what you mean by looking at it.
well, I mean, when we ask
Yes,
something, you
I
said, I don't know, and you're asking somebody else. I just think maybe in this day and age, we should be better with facts with all the technology that we
Then
have.
I apologize.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, even if it's a new
Facts are kept
program.
by juvenile services, but you're correct. Maybe I should have
Yeah.
had a little bit better grip on
Okay.
the statistics.
That's all I have, thank you.
If I may, we keep all the data at VYJ, but it is only recently that we've started working with Clay to use his resources to get statistical information of recidivism rates and things like that. We have always kept the numbers of kids and all the data ready for anyone that wants to see it in terms of all of our programs.
That's all I have.
All right, we appreciate it. We don't have any...
Yes, sir, I do have it. You could just, give me about 3 more minutes, is that?
All right, go ahead.
Rick Foreman, who is our Executive Director of Volunteers for Youth Justice, he also has his Program Director here, Kayla Anderson. I'd like for her to come up, please. Sometimes it's real easy to throw out stats and recidivism rates and percentages, but occasionally it's good, I think, to take those stats and put a face to them. So I'm going to ask Kayla if she would introduce a young man who's just going to tell you, who participated in the program, and he's just going to tell you how the program has impacted his life.
Hello. I started this program April 27, 2010. Since then, I met this one individual, DeAndre McCullough. He just completed the program in January, and it amazed me. He's very respectful. I think the class changed him a lot. He actually came back and spoke to our next group of students and told them how the class changed him. So at this time, I just want to introduce DeAndre McCullough.
How much they paid you, DeAndre?
Here he is.
Hey, how y'all doing?
All right.
Well, I'm here today.
Hey, do me a favor, excuse me, Mr. President, let's don't mention the youth's name, just to, let's don't keep a record of the name of who's up here.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead to the mic. Go ahead and speak.
Well, I'm here today to speak on my behalf of the program that I was in. Well, before I went to the program, I was And well, my judge, she recommended that I went to the program. So I told her I'd go to the program. When I went, I felt like the program wasn't gonna do me no good when I first started off. And then after that, like we had, like I say, about the first week, they really like went over the basics with us about how the program is and about how it could change our life. And the people there, like the teacher that was there, the teacher that was teaching me about the program, she really connected with us. She understood us and what our purpose was for being there. So how I felt at the time was like, I'd get this program a try. And so then after that, I say the next week, they had taught us about the basics about the thing and how you like really just, it ain't hard to do things in life. Like what we did was our fault. It was on us, what we did. But the thing that they taught us is how we could change our life instead of being out there in the streets doing wrong. How we could be like in the community we're in somewhere in a positive place, like how I am now. And with that being said, all that the teachers and all that stuff saying that you can't be nothing in life. If you go through this program, you will be something in life. Me right now, I'm finna get ready to leave and go to YCP. I recommended, my judge recommended I go to YCP, and I told her yes, I go. And I'm going there all because of them. They got my life straight, because at first I had a hard head, and nobody tell me nothing. I was bad, didn't do right, didn't obey nobody, and stuff, so they had taught me how to be a leader, not to be a follower. They taught me how to respect others and respect the stuff that I do and how to stay out of trouble. And we had this one man who came and told us about how his life was and how now I think he's, what he is now? Yeah, he's a counselor now. But at first he stayed in California. And I think if my mind not mistaken, he was in a gang. And like after that, he told us about how it went when he was in that gang, how his life changed from he got out the gang and how his life changed to what he could be, what he is now. And that just hit me to be like, that just hit me like I could be just like him or better. That showed me that you can change. Anybody can change their life if they just put their mind to it. And like that really changed my life. They taught me how I could just be myself and not try to follow other people and get in the bad and do wrong. And ever since the day I graduated and got my certificate from there, I haven't done nothing wrong. I've got a job. I've been working. And now that I got this, they are sending my paper for YCP. I'm going, hoping it's going to be a great, exciting class for me. Well, yeah, because for one, I like to work out. I like to run, I like to play. I'm an athlete. I do a lot of stuff now that I ain't got to worry about people being on my back or me watching my back about making sure I don't get locked up or anything. And I just feel like if I could go back to the program, I would, one more time.
Just for point of information, you're talking YCP, that's the Louisiana Army National Guard Youth Challenge Program over at Camp Minda, and he's been accepted, and that's a great program.
We had a couple of commissioners that wanted to speak.
Okay. You want to go?
He can stay there. I wanted to compliment you on getting in front of the microphone. You did a fantastic job. Every single time I get in front of the microphone, I stutter, and you did much better than I do, and every time it gets easier, and thank you for getting up and speaking on behalf of the program. That was very big of you. Thank you, sir. That's all.
Mr. Williams?
I can't say enough how proud I am. I attend a lot of funerals and see this young man turn his life around was very touching to me. Because every time we look at the news and look at statistics, they always talking about our young boys are not going to make it. I was very touched by your comments. I mean, I was touched to see how a program could turn your life around, because without that, you probably was headed for self-destruction. And you turn your life around. I don't know if it helped you deal with anger management or conflict resolution in the program. I don't know if you have that in the program, anger management. That seemed to be one of the serious problems that manifests is anger management and conflict resolution. And it's just a norm to kill somebody and go home and eat food like nothing ain't happened. No conscience. So I just want to say, man, hang in there. The devil's still going to be after you. You hold your head up. Stay focused and keep your eyes on the prize. Because God ain't through with you yet.
Thank you, and congratulations for speaking to us. We appreciate it.
Is that it?
You have anything else?
No, sir.
All right. I think you better stop while you're ahead.
What was that? I'm sorry.
I said stop while you're ahead.
Thank you, Ted.
That was...
Commissioners, the next update we have for you is concerning Fort Wade. Like Mr. Rennie, lucky to give you an update. We have some information you need to know about concerning that facility out in southern part of the parish in Keithville area.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. I got notified, I think it was either Thursday or Friday of last week, that Fort Wade, they thought Fort Wade was going to be closing down. So I called Pamela Board at the Department of Corrections, state of Louisiana. She sent me an email, says per our telephone conversation earlier this afternoon, that the department has short-term plans to keep the essential functions of water, electricity, etc. of the prison operational, so that if we need to utilize the facility for inmate evacuations during hurricane season, we will have that option. Beyond that, the department has no long-term plans at this point. And I do know that they're planning on having all of the prisoners relocated somewhere else, and the workers that are out there relocated other places. By the end of July, it will be emptied. And that's all I know of. The only other thing she told me was that it was the only one in the state of the state prisons that was shut down, and this was the only one that got the axe.
How many workers?
I think the employee number was like 160, but most of those folks, she told me, were relocated to other places. And she said, yes, some folks did have to move out of state.
What a shame.
Mr. Epperson?
Yes, sir. I would hope that we would diligently pursue seeing if we can get that facility back. I think it's too valuable a piece of property. I don't think the state has any funds, even if they keep it, to do anything with it. And I think it can be best returned back to our care. I think Mr. Grubb and I had spoken about this earlier in the year. So hopefully if there's something we can make happen, I think we can.
See if there's a reversionary clause in the deed or something to that effect?
Yes, we'll talk about that a little later. But whatever we can do to see if we can get that back, I think we should heavily pursue it.
We did have a request, Commissioner Epperson, already for that facility. Chim Haven called us last week, and they said if we didn't have a need for it, they would like to use it. So at the appropriate time, it will be brought before you if they follow through in their actions on that. They did call about that facility as well. Dr. Blink called.
Yes.
Last Tuesday, I believe she called concerning that.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I got no problem with, someone requesting use it, but I'd like to see if we can take that and turn it into a nickel for us, okay? Because that's a valuable piece of property. I think it has some great potential, and hopefully we can turn it into some sort of economic fruition rather than...
Mr. Epperson, I think also the young lady, when I talked with Ms. Laborde, referenced that there were a couple of trailers out there on our property that some of the prison guards were living in, I believe, or some of the security or somebody were living in those, and she said they're going to have to be relocated out of there also, but she indicated that would be done by the end of July. That's all.
Mr. Cox?
I agree with Mr. Epperson. We need to find something to do with that building. If the state wants, if we can get it back from the state, that's fine. As far as Chimp Haven, I think we give them enough. I think we can find something else better to do with that property than, Chimp Haven. Economic, or we've got a juvenile justice, may want to do something with the building.
Amen.
The sky is the limit on that building. So I agree with Mr. Epperson on that. I am disappointed that they're shutting it down, because that has been a vital part of this area for a long time, and a lot of people work there. And I know 3 guards out there that are going to have to, do something else now. So there was no layoffs as far as the guards, right?
David, all she told me was that most everybody had been relocated.
If you can get me the numbers.
Okay, I can.
At our next meeting. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Lynn?
With Louisiana being the incarceration capital of the planet Earth, I don't understand how they're shutting down a prison. Are they transferring prisoners to any privately owned prison?
Mr. Lynn, she told me that they were being transferred to several different places. She didn't say if they were privately owned or what it was, but she said they were all going to be relocated by the end of July.
Okay, thank you.
That's about it.
All right.
Yes, so the last time I have Ms. Jerry Perry, this is the Regional Director of the Department of Health and Hospitals, and she's retiring. Sent you all a letter, I just want to make you aware of that. She meets with us once a quarter for our governmental agencies that we fund, so we're going to miss her. She's been working with us for quite a few years, and we appreciate the working relationship we have with Ms. Perry. The last time on the report, President Thibodeau, from you, sir. Respect to General Motors.
Yeah, I'll just give this now. Just got the official notice, and everyone has a copy of it, of the closure of the GM plant. They're required by law to make official notifications, I guess, to all the government bodies that are involved. And so this is the letter we received, and everyone has a copy.
So we still on the communicating report?
We are now.
All right.
Mr. Cox.
Quick thing here. Quick question. Is anyone here from the Sun? Is there anyone here from the Caddo Citizen? That's all I need to know.
All right. Ms. Lynch?
I had a question. I think I had sent out an email about our intergovernmental meeting that we were having with the school board and with the city council. We've not had one since August of last year.
That's correct.
And I don't know what we need to do to get the ball rolling on that, but if we can try to get something set up as soon as possible.
Yeah, ma'am. Commissioner Lynch, I think Todd's been talking to someone at the school board. Todd, is their turn to do it, you said?
We had originally talked to a lady at the school board, but they have not responded back, so.
And I did ask Vito to send out another email last week, Commissioner Lynch, to reaffirm our commitment to meet, and we haven't heard a response back yet. But I did ask Vito to send that out, so I'll double check. Yeah, so I seem to follow up with Vito to see how that went.
And then the other, on the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, I think we last met in February. Is there a meeting? Are we going to be having a meeting soon?
We'll check with Sheriff Prater in the morning and find out when the next meeting will be.
Okay.
He used to set the dinner. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Got it.
Mr. Epperson.
Happy 237th birthday to the United States Army. June the 14th, 1775, the Continental Army was created. And we know that was a little over a year before July of 1776. So, hoorah!
Charles.
Dawson Road proposed extension, Mr. Glass. Are we still looking at that to Greenwood Road?
Yes, sir. We're still waiting on, I think, 2 or 3 big tract owners that to respond to us about if they allow us to go across their property. We hadn't heard back from them, but we have heard from several of the owners on the north side of the old oil and gas road. There's a rig down the end of that road.
Right.
And so we've heard from them, and they were agreeable, but we hadn't heard from the other two owners.
Okay. Just a second, please. I don't know if you were here, from one of the other gentlemen was here. We contacted anyone as far as refurbishing, repainting the
Overpass?
the I-20 overpass.
We contacted the state.
Yeah, we
That's the
did.
state. The bridge over I-20.
Right.
Yeah. So we contacted the state.
Okay. And Scott Street at Washington Lane, it's open from the west side of Washington Lane on back. However, it's a right-of-way on the east of Washington Lane that's all grown up. And I was wondering if we may look at that, and if there aren't any plans where we can have some public use in the future, if we may look at, like when we can give it up and split it up with the landowners.
It's abandoned right away.
Right, abandoned it because I went over there that day, and I mean, people are dumping in there, and it's just growing up and a lot of mosquitoes, so if we could look at that. Yes. And let's see. Fairgrounds Field, do we have, I know we give a little contribution to State Fair.
Yes, we do.
Coming down I-20, when you look over at the baseball field, it looks horrible. Yeah. And who's responsible? That's city?
The city facility.
Yeah, it just looked like something abandoned and trashy, realized, so I didn't know if we, need to talk with,
We'll talk to
Chris.
Chris.
Okay.
How about that?
All right. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Smith?
I know that some of you watch the sales tax collection like Erica and I do, and almost every taxing body in the parish is down for the year to date. So I know it's not a surprise to you, but it's something we need to be very much aware as we spend our monies going forward. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Williams?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to commend the Good Time Road Festival organizers. Last week I had a wonderful time watching and having a great time down there. From my observation, it was very, very successful. There were thousands and thousands of people. I just want to commend the Omegas for doing a job well done, bringing tourism and festival to our community. And it was very peaceful and very safe. Secondly, last week there was a press conference concerning crime in our community. I want to commend City Councilman Jenkins and Commissioner George Bowman for taking the lead efforts in the Queensburg community concerning violence in that particular area. Also, violence is all over our district, parish-wide. I attended a funeral of a young lady that was deceased, Miss Johnson, on Saturday. She was funeralized on Saturday, and unfortunately, I don't want to keep going to funerals. I want to go to graduations. So we partnered up with Operation Cease the Violence, Break the Silence, Save a Life. We joined up with mothers of the victims and also domestic violence. There was a representative from domestic violence, and also people from crimes of passion. We were at war with the devil. The devil is taking over our community, is taking over our children. We cannot box with the devil by itself. Our churches have to help come in, and the Christian community, the faith community have to help come in and fight this battle. What's forthcoming in the Stony Hill community, that's where she lives, is a prayer vigil. Hopefully, target date is June the 30th. And after that, there will be a anti-peaceful march and rally in that particular community, because we have to continue to raise the awareness of crime in our community, and we can't do it alone. We must work together with our city police, with the community at large, and our clergy and the neighborhood association to address crime in the community, because it's not going anywhere. Also, we know drugs is very prevalent in our areas. Drugs and alcohol and unemployment. People need work. So I hope we can partner up with the private sector to try to find jobs for people that don't have a job, and try to ease the pain in their life and improve their quality of life, because those things go hand in hand. No job, crime. Get a job, maybe less crime. So hopefully, I hope to work with this administration We have a list, ask some of our private sector to partner up and find some meaningful paying jobs for the men and women that are unemployed in our parish, in our city. So hope you would join me in that effort for what's forthcoming. I've been receiving several phone calls concerning the rally and the prayer vigil. It doesn't matter if you're black or white, young or old, rich or poor, you live in South Shreveport, nobody's immune to crime. It may not be at your doorstep today, but it may be there tomorrow. So I guess that we all need to get proactive and not reactive, and get involved at the grassroots level where the rubber meets the road. We're not going to win this war sitting in these chambers, puffing and puffing for the media, posturing. They got to be won in the streets. Like we used to do, Ken, back in the day, we took the fight to the street. And I think we need to revert to some of those type of tactics because they work. So we need to keep on marching, keep on pressing on, so we can have some peace in our community. Hopefully it can save somebody's life. We got to break the silence. We can't be looking through peepholes and looking in the curtain and see people breaking in houses, shooting and crime and raping, and going back in the house and not saying nothing. It's time we break the silence and work with our community, or any police officer and the community liaison officer. If you're scared to call, text, email, start speaking up and speaking out. A lot of the crime is black on black crime. We got to stop playing the blame game. Stop pointing the finger and take responsibility for our own actions in our own communities. So hopefully we can continue to do that and press forward and save a life. The life you save may be your own. So I'll be getting with you, administration, and help me coordinate that and work with the city and work with our crime prevention program so we can help tap out crime in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, first, is there anyone here from the Times?
They decided not to come.
Beg your pardon?
They decided not to come.
Okay, I'm just trying to... Thank you. Ken, I want to address the question you had as far as Fairgroundsville is concerned. The team folded, and immediately after that, no activity was taking place, and in addition to that, a lot of money was spent getting a new scoreboard and trying to, and I looked at it the other day because I was saying, hopefully maybe some of the high schools or somebody else can start using this, but of course that falls under Shelley Regal, and certainly that's something I think the new sports commission, needs to look at, trying to get some activity going over there. The reason it's like an old house. If you don't live in it, and after a certain period of time, it just starts breaking down. And that's where we are with that. But I, would think that Shelley, number one, would spark, because she spent a lot of time helping us to bring it up, to par for the captains, and then maybe she can get that sports commission involved to try to have more games over there, because a lot of money was invested in the place. Renovations were done to the press box, in addition to the concession area. So I would suggest, get with her and see what they can do to try to get it up and running, or at least looking decent from the interstate.
Outside, that's right.
And Mr. President, one other thing, I certainly want to thank you and every commissioner that came out on Monday evening to the community meeting. It was a huge success. We had over 200 citizens there who were concerned about where they live. In addition to that, it is we will have another meeting Monday, the 25th, and this one will be at the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club. The people in the community are extremely excited about what's going on. In addition to that, you can't walk in the grocery store. I've received so many phone calls and letters how they are just so thrilled that we're picking this up, and it's their hope that we can get their neighborhood watch information there for them. The chief is also working, with the citizens over there, and I'm looking forward to bringing our communities back to where they should be, and having homeowners take pride in where they live. And at some point, and of course this is not the end, we're going to continuously work on this. You can't just have 1 or 2 meetings and then drop it, because we've done this over the years, and those meetings were not successful like this, because you have people who are willing now to come together and work. And I'll be right in the middle of the whole deal. Thank you very much.
Mr. Lynn.
After our meeting today, immediately following, there will be an NGO committee meeting. I encourage everybody to go, whether you're in the committee, on the committee or not. If you have something that you say in reference to the forum, I encourage your input. Thank you.
What were we supposed to get updated on the form? I think Eric was supposed to send
It should be in your stack.
Good job. Okay. Okay. I'll send an email. Okay, thank you. That's all I had.
All right, any other business?
Business, sir?
New business.
New business. Authorized introduction of ordinance number 5210 of 2012, amending Article 6 of Chapter 26, the Code of Ordinances relative to Section 26-186, renaming 4-way stop intersections to multi-way stop intersections.
I move that we englobo the remaining part of our new business to Thursday. Second.
We got a motion by Mr. Dominic and a second by Mr. Cox to englobo everything else. I do have 2 people one that wants to speak. Ms. Lynch?
Well, I have questions on several of them, so if we could at least...
Let's pull the ones you have questions on them.
2 through 7.
I will withdraw my motion. Yep, second.
On 5210, what's the difference between a 4-way and a multi-way? What is that? Does it go from a stop sign to a what?
It would
Just trying to get an
encompass, it would
understanding.
encompass 3-way intersections, Commissioner, a T intersection, I think.
Oh, okay.
You didn't learn that in driver's ed?
Okay, so we're just adding 3-way.
Yeah.
You're saying? Okay. Okay, thank you.
I move item number 2 to Thursday, please.
Second. Got a motion by Mr. Dominic and a second by Mr. Cox. Move to Thursday. Mr. Epperson?
Well, I had some questions on some of it too, so since he pulled in Globo.
All right. Text your vote, please. 11-0.
Authorizing introduction of ordinance number 5211 of 2012, amending Article 6 of Chapter 26, Code of Ordinances relative to 26-186, Schedule E, multi-way stop intersections on Amblewood Lane and Joshua Tree Drive.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Dominic. Cast your vote, please. Passes.
Authorizing introduction of ordinance 5212 of 2012 to amend and reenact Section 32, Article 3 of the Code of Ordinance to include offense of display of items commonly used as drug paraphernalia.
Move to Thursday.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Cox, second by Mr. Smith. Ms. Lynch?
Let me ask, on this one, I know it's different from 5207, but this has, I guess both of them have some reference to marijuana in them. But when we started, I thought when we started, we were just talking about, the drug paraphernalia and the synthetic marijuana. So how did we get to add marijuana itself?
Marijuana, actually, we have two ordinances. You have one that, the 5207, I believe, is on the agenda for final passage on Thursday.
Right.
So you don't have a copy of it with your stuff today. And this one is for drug paraphernalia. And marijuana was actually included in both ordinances. It's included in the one that's up for Thursday because it references items that mimic the effects of marijuana. This one is something that's referencing things that can also be used to smoke marijuana. Because a lot of times, under the state statute as it stands now, you would have to have some kind of residue on whatever you seize. This would be for items that could be used to smoke other things, maybe other than marijuana. If you recall, the gentleman and his wife that were here, I believe it was back in May or maybe in April, referencing the masks and things of that nature, those are actually more commonly used to smoke marijuana than anything else. Actually, I don't really know of anything else that they're used for. So this is to kind of cover all bases.
It was going a little bit further than what I thought that we were looking at doing. Let me ask you, on the second page, C, it has any business whose employee is cited under this provision shall be subject to the suspension and revocation of liquor licenses. What are we saying here?
Basically, the way that you all have the liquor licenses set up, when the employees get cited, when they go out and do those things, that person is brought before you by the sheriff's office to determine whether or not they're being an inherent danger to the community. You all base decisions on sometimes how many times they've been before you on the selling to minors and that kind of thing. This would give you the opportunity to review, in case they're cited for this, if there's a provision in that liquor license statute that says, that's just kind of general, if they're being a danger into whatever community they serve. If you all want to look at their license, that provision will give you that opportunity, and it kind of helps police it, because if all they ever have to worry about is paying a fine, then that's the only enforcement mechanism you have, and if it's somebody that can afford to pay the fine, they're just going to keep paying fines and doing the same thing.
I guess I'm trying to figure out, because where this stuff is sold, is it at liquor stores? It's just trying to get the connection.
It's usually at convenience stores. The complaint has been about convenience stores that generally also sell alcohol, usually packaged liquor or beer.
Okay. So you're saying that they could probably be where they have a license where they can sell both, basically.
Right.
Okay, gotcha. All right, thank you.
Mr. Cox?
And just a side note, what we're doing here is saving lives. I mean, because kids are buying this stuff at $30 a pack, going out, smoking it, ended up in comas, and we have had a rash in our local hospitals because kids are doing this. 2 weeks ago, a gentleman who used to have a TV show was busted in Bossier for the same thing. This is going to get worse as time goes on. Us doing this now will show the rest of the state we're taking an approach to this to stop it. And maybe if we do what we're going to do, the rest of the state will follow in turn. That's what the Sheriff's Department and our legal, their legal, are going to try to do.
You're talking in terms of the synthetic marijuana? Okay.
Thank you.
I had a question.
Ms. Bowman.
Yeah, that was one of the questions I had. We're trying to regulate marijuana, but you're saying synthetic, correct?
It has both of them on there. That was my concern.
Is that the case? Is both of them on there? Regular marijuana's on there?
Yes, ma'am. Regular marijuana is on the ordinance for the synthetic marijuana.
Why is that on there?
Because part of the regulation is to, the way that you're going to be able to prove that offense when it comes to the synthetic marijuana is to make sure that the effect that it has on the person mimics the effect of the actual marijuana. So both of them are referenced, and sometimes you find them in conjunction together.
I mean, but is it our job to regulate, real marijuana?
You can. There's no prohibition, and the regulation does not exceed or is not different from what the state does for it.
Okay, well, answer this. If we decide we want to legalize marijuana.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Does this include the papers?
The what now?
The papers.
The papers under that, well...
Is that on here?
They're going back on the drug ordinance. For the papers, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to prove that marijuana was actually in the paper.
Exactly.
Right.
Because a lot of folks, the older people, roll their cigarettes and use that same paper.
Right.
But I'm just curious, that's all. I have some friends. I'm teasing. Thank you, Mr. President.
So much for that part-time job.
Williams. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I too would like to echo what Commissioner Cox has said. This is something long overdue. I think everybody comes to America, they come to the hood and sell everything. Dope, drugs, paraphernalia, everything is targeted our neighborhood. This is long overdue. Let me ask you this, is the city of Shreveport, are you guys mirroring each other ordinance? Because a lot of it is within the city limits.
It ain't done nothing.
Is this ordinance outside the city limits? I'm trying to see how can we enforce this law.
As of right now, that ordinance applies to outside of the city, unincorporated areas of the parish. We would probably need to sit down and work with the city council and see if they are interested.
They need to be encouraged.
Lieutenant Towns, do you all have anything in front of them right now?
He needs to come up anyway.
You know, as an urban commissioner, this is one of the most disgusting, distasteful things. That you go in the store and all this kind of stuff has been sold to our children, to our community. So we need to have this ordinance. But they need to partner up, and they need to be in the city and the parish at the same time. You know, I'm not delaying what we do here, or denying it. I'm going to support the ordinance, but we need to put some heat. And the city need to come up with an ordinance as well to enforce these regulations as well. So some kind of way, get some city councilmen to take the lead and work with you on this.
We will reach out to them and see then if they're interested and work with the task force, which covers both the parish, the sheriff's office, and the city police to see if we can get them to do something similar.
Thank you.
Mr. Lynn.
First, I want to, actually, if y'all could stay, I want to congratulate Commissioner Cox on putting this forth. One of the things I want to ask about is that everybody read about the person who ate the guy's face off. Well, he was on synthetic crystal meth, which
God.
is as horrible as crystal meth is by itself. To have a synthetic chemical derivative of it, was it ice? Was that?
No, it was actually the bath salts.
The bath salts.
Yeah. Hallucinogenic drug also.
The synthetic is way worse than the original. And again, it has been proven with the incense or the synthetic THC substitute is actually way worse for you than actual marijuana. With marijuana already being illegal, why is it on here? How come, if you have a law, why duplicate a law?
I don't think it's actually, you're not actually banning marijuana. I think it's actually comparing the effects of marijuana to the synthetic marijuana. It's actually more than anything, I think. I mean, there's already Louisiana revised statutes, talking about marijuana makes it, illegal, and also the ramifications for it. So I don't think we're actually trying to do anything better or override anything Louisiana state law. I think it was more in comparison to the actual mimicking effects of why synthetic marijuana was actually developed.
Do you think, well, I realize, yeah, that it's legal and that you can change the chemical base of it and achieve the same goal on hitting the same receptors of your brain, doing 1,000,000 times more damage than what marijuana would do to you. And apparently there's enough people out there that are looking to escape the reality that they have, that they're willing to go any means possible to do it, whether they're taking a can of paint and huffing, or they're sniffing glue, or they're huffing a gas tank, or any number of things. I don't know if it'll stop this one thing. Yes, I agree. However, I don't think it'll stop people from trying to escape reality, even to the point of creating a brain dead human. Where are we with the city? Because I mean, granted, there's issues outside the city limits. However, I'd like to see, is the ice on here, the bath salts, are they included in this legislation?
No, there's already Louisiana state law that is covered just about everything involving the bath salt. So we don't really have that much of an outbreak here with the bath salt because of the law. And Governor Jindal actually took a step a while back when he saw it was becoming a problem, and the bath salt's pretty much illegal all the way. But the difference between that and the synthetic marijuana law is that they're able so easily to change the compound by changing one molecule and changing it, that Louisiana law can't keep up with it. So, Louisiana law is every year, so there's no way they can just keep adding every chemical compound that it comes up with. I mean, it's literally, you can't even pronounce some of the compounds that they come up with. There's so many of them. Right. And it's so easy just to change it. The bath salts were pretty much just a few chemicals that were involved in it, and that's illegal for the state of Louisiana. That's why we don't see that. Yeah, it's a felony big time. So.
Okay, I just didn't understand the recreation of another law. If marijuana was already illegal, then it seems like it's already illegal.
No, it's not an idea to go after marijuana. Excuse me, it's just a synthetic marijuana, to try and ban it totally if we can, to keep it out there. Louisiana just added a couple of new articles, SB 61. There was another one before that, a couple of more chemicals that they found containing in quite a few of the synthetic marijuana package that we found. They made those illegal, but of course, a month later, they've already found a way to change that one. So,
do you think that if marijuana were legal, that the synthetic marijuana would go away and people would be in better health?
No, I'm against any type of legalization of any narcotic, and I could sit here all day and talk to you about it, but totally against it. Because I can tell you marijuana, I've been doing this 28 years, and it's a gateway drug. It leads to everything you can think of.
That's all, Mr. President. In California.
All right, Mr. Smith. On ordinance 5212, Commissioner Cox and I, the store that started all of this was in our area, as some of you know. My grandson and I used to go there after school a lot of times, and we'd buy ice cream and Cokes and candy. Since this time, I've never been in that store again. Only thing I'll say is, you can't make it tough enough for me.
That's right.
I don't want to lose my only grandson. Thank you.
Dominic? Yeah, there's two things here, and I think just trying to clear things up, that we've already introduced the ordinance and are going to vote on it Thursday if it's on the consent agenda with regards to the synthetic marijuana, okay? That's going to outlaw the synthetic marijuana, and it's my understanding we have language in there because of the one molecule change. That's why you have the language in there about the mimicking marijuana, which is going to hopefully prevent that type of thing happening in our parish. And again, it's in our parish, not inside the city. The second thing is that we have the ordinance that's being introduced today, just introduced, and it has to do with drug paraphernalia being displayed. It's not saying you can't sell it, because I think we talked about that, and I talked to you earlier about that. We can't stop the sale. I know that we'd probably like to, but we can't. But what we're going to do is prevent the display. The family that was here a month or so ago and brought it to us with regards to young children going in here and, hey, Daddy, what is this stuff here? The bong and the things like that. It's not going to be an open display. I've got young kids and really don't want them seeing openly displayed items of that nature in a store. And this is what this drug paraphernalia ordinance is going to do. At least that's my understanding. Is you're going to have this, if you want to sell it, you got to have it behind the counter with a black curtain or somewhere where it's not openly displayed. and can be seen and be so readily available or readily seen to the public. Is that pretty much it?
Yes.
I'm supporting it. Hopefully it moves forward. I would commend you and Commissioner Smith, and I know Commissioner Williams outspoken about this too, for y'all taking on this thing. It's a good thing.
Ms. Bowman?
Yes. Let me make a correction here. I don't have any friends that I know of in this day and time. Maybe back in the day. But I don't know any friends who are currently under the influence. And I certainly want to make that correction, because I don't want you guys thinking anything differently. I was basically teasing about it. Another thing, this has been going on in our community, i.e., all down Jewella, for years.
That's right.
I mean, this is nothing new, and it's not people, and forgive me if I'm offending anyone, but it's not people who look like you or me that's selling it. I'm just being honest. They load up the windows and they sell to young kids in my community and others, and they've been doing this for a long time. They're the very ones who brought up all these service stations and convenience stores all over our community. So I told you from the get-go that I support you, and certainly I'll continue to do that. But I did need to make that clarification. And Todd, don't you put that in the record.
You better do like Commissioner Cox said. He told the other Cox, you might want to stop when you're here.
I'll put it in the record.
Let me make sure I'm clear on what you're saying, Attorney. So the use of the word marijuana in this particular ordinance is material to the displaying of the drug paraphernalia? I just don't.
Yes, because most of the people use those items. If you notice, there's, I think we changed miniature cocaine spoons to miniature spoons. And then marijuana, because some things like the rolling paper can be used for marijuana or a regular cigarette. But something like a bong, nobody's going to use a bong or a man to smoke tobacco.
I'm going to get Commissioner Williams to take me to the store so that I can see what y'all talking about, because y'all use a lot of terms. I'll pick you up tomorrow. You got
I'll pick you up today.
Thank you. Okay. So it is material to what we're ultimately trying to do with as far as the displaying of. I mean, I'm on record. I am for the legalization of marijuana for medicinal purposes, and so I just don't want to. I just want to be consistent in what I'm doing. But if it's material to what we're trying to do to prevent it from being just openly displayed, then I'll support it.
I know. It's amazing.
Mr. Cox?
I just want to thank you, the both of you, for putting this up and getting it done. I know you did it quick, and you and I talked about it when you first came to me, or I first came to you about this. We would like to try to get it done before the session was over in Baton Rouge. We didn't make it, but at least we'll have this in place, and I hope everybody votes for this thing, the one on Thursday and this one, simply because it's needed in this state. Ms. Bowman, you're correct by saying what you did. People who do not care about human life is passing this and selling this to our young people.
Amen.
And the only way to stamp it out is to do what you guys have brought to us in this package for Thursday and today. Let's vote on it, let's pass it, and let's start the rest of Louisiana looking at us and say, we need to do the same thing. Thank you both.
All right, cast your vote, please. This is moving it to Thursday. All right, and that passes.
Authorize the introduction of ordinance 5213 to revoke a portion of the dedication of Sand Valley Road in the parish of Caddo.
So moved. Moved by Mr. Dominic, second by... Ms. Bowman. Ms. Bowman, that sounds good. Ms. Lynch?
Let me ask, who requested the revocation?
Two joining landowners.
Yeah, but who are they? Do we have that information?
One of the, on one side of this road, it's a gentleman by the name of Shane Bell, and the gentleman that owns the balance of the property surrounding it is a gentleman by the name of Frank Brydup.
And there's no road there, it's my
There's
understanding.
no road there. This is to cure, Mr. Brydup is actually the developer of some property out there. And he and Mr. Bell are kind of in a situation. Mr. Brydup dedicated this piece of road here for a future entrance into his dedication. Well, Mr. Bell, something happened with the surveying or something, and they're both accusing each other, but Mr. Bell's driveway is on this road. His driveway to his home is located on this road dedication.
So how much property are we talking about?
It's 60 feet wide by 160 feet in length.
Less than an acre.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Half an acre.
Thank you.
All right.
Cash vote. And that passes.
Authorize Resolution 29 of 2012 nominating Ms. Barbara Marshall to serve on the Northwest Louisiana Human Service
So
District.
moved.
Second. Moved by Ms. Lynch.
Who is it?
Second by Mr. Cox.
Information is in the
Yeah, there's her
Resume.
Her resume's here. Ms. Bowman?
I have a question.
Bowman?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is she replacing someone?
No.
No.
Okay, that's all I want to know.
Cast your vote, please. All right, that passes.
Authorize Resolution number 30 of 2012 to authorize the Caddo Parish Administrator to consent to annexation by the City of Shreveport of certain right-of-way in the Parish of Caddo.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Epperson. Second by Mr. Lynn. Cast your vote, please. Passes.
Authorize resolution of recognition of Dr. Vincent Marcella, retiring Chancellor of LSUS.
So moved. Second. Moved by Chair, second by Mr. Dominic. Cast your vote, please. And that passes.
Authorize resolution of recognition from Mr. Angelo Rapola, for the Louisiana Political Hall of Fame inductee.
Move to Thursday.
To move with Chair. Second.
Motion by Mr. Cox, second by Mr. Williams. Vote, please. Mr. Epperson?
Just a little bit of history. Louisiana Political Hall of Fame is in my hometown of Winfield, Louisiana. Old train station. I used to catch the train round trip from Winfield to Shreveport for $6.
What's the population?
Probably about 2,000. Everything's good down there.
He don't go there no more.
That's right.
All right, that passes.
Authorize a resolution of recognition for Mr. Baruti Anahaku.
So move.
Mr. Williams, second by Mr. Epperson. Cast your vote, please. Passes.
Authorize updated non-governmental organizations appropriations applications recommended by the CBO-NGO Appropriation Committee.
Move to Thursday.
Second. Moved by Mr. Lynn, second by Mr. Cox. Mr. Lynn?
The NGO form is, I recognize before was, I guess, daunting to look at. Commissioner Glendora Baker and I sat down for several hours to make it easier. The Riverboat Fund has the same amount of money in it no matter what form is there, and the commissioners for each district know what serves their district best, and the money is still going to be able to go out there. Today, we talked with juvenile detention about statistics and facts and what information do they have and what information do they not have. And the information that we're asking is stuff that they could include so that if a child is needing to be assigned some sort of rehab, they will be assigned rehab based on that. And they'll be able to go to that neighborhood. I ask y'all to please let it move to Thursday, that if Mr. Dominic could please stay and pass this vote forward.
Just move to Thursday?
Move to Thursday.
Okay, this is the same form that we met in committee.
No, sir.
Well, how can you just change it arbitrarily between two people? And I mean, what do we got?
I'm bringing it to the floor, not from committee. I'm bringing it to the floor. I had asked for it to be sent out to everybody to look at. My computer was down. I didn't get any of my stuff till I got in this morning. I found out that you didn't send it out to everybody.
I guess I didn't understand that you
and so
sent to everyone.
Ms. Bryant didn't send it out. When we go to committee today, we can look at it again. However, it's different and it's easier. I know that you received it on short notice. I was thinking that everybody had received this last Tuesday.
Well, you start one process, then you're coming up with another one, either we're going to have a committee or we aren't going to have a committee. And then if you had an item that came through committee and it came out and it fell on the floor, you got an option you got two options. Basically, you can go for a motion of reconsideration, with changes if that go forward, or it should go back if there's something needed to the original means in which the item that you had failed. But you can't have a process where just individuals get together and arbitrarily devise something that went through committee for everyone.
A person can bring something to the board just themselves without it going through committee. However, what I have done to get it on the books so that it would be done in time, hopefully, for accounting to send this out to everybody, I had to put it on the agenda for today. There was a rural committee meeting set up before our meeting today that got canceled this morning, which was when I did want to set up that NGO meeting. However, since there was a meeting, I couldn't set another meeting up, and so I set the meeting up after our meeting today so that we could discuss it then. I apologize that not normal guidelines were followed, however, legal guidelines were followed, and I'm asking for everyone's consideration, and I would love to visit with everybody about this and pour over this today after the meeting and all week long.
My concern, I was confused. I called around early. I think I got a notice about a natural resources meeting. Did you read that with me? That was confusing. Didn't we look on there?
The line.
The line, right, it was on
Caddo
there.
had
It was confusing,
meeting,
yeah.
but the line had.
Then there was supposed to have been a property standards meeting that I thought at 2 o'clock, and it was canceled, but I never received a notion, so I was planning for the 2 o'clock property standards meeting, you see, and then we had the regular special meeting for 3, so I have to try and schedule myself to minimize my back and forthness, I got a lot of illnesses in the family that I'm taking care of. So, that's what bothers me with that, and I got confused today, you know what I mean? The deal that I got it had natural resources on there, and I didn't. Okay, the property standards was canceled. I just received a notice today And, of course, you know, the situation that came up, I knew about the special meeting, I had planned to come, but with the situation that come up. But that's what bothers me. And you know, we talk oftentimes about bureaucracy and all this. I just got a problem with sometimes it appears as though we're putting things in place to stymie or make our general public feel like they got to jump through a hoop or something. You know what I mean? I think government should be as simplistic as possible. We have had this process in place since the 90s. We came a hell of a long way. And we down there, I think, what was it, 2 pages now or less? We've gone through this process all of these years, and I have not seen any problem where it really developed into any problem with the application process. I've always been an advocate that any concern that we can have, we can do it, 2 ways. We can ask the individuals to make sure that we understand what information we want prior. Or secondly, we can put it in the cooperative endeavor where it has teeth. So I'm not going to be in favor of this change today. Thank you.
Lynch.
Let me ask on the timeline, Ms. Bryan, when do we normally send out the forms to the NGOs?
Commissioner, we usually send them out at the end of June, ask for them back. We usually send them out at the end of June and ask for them. Usually it's like July 1st or July 2nd, and request that we get them back about mid-August. I don't have the final date. We're waiting on Mr. Wilson to go over the proposed calendar for the budget that we will give to you all on Thursday. But tentatively, we have it scheduled for July 2nd.
Okay, so we have another meeting. We have another meeting this month, right?
Yeah, you have another meeting after July 2nd, yes.
When is our next meeting? Our next meeting is the 2nd and the 5th.
Right.
Okay, and then the deadline is for them to get it back is what?
It's usually mid-August, around the
17th?
Around the 15th.
15th or something like that.
We like to give them 45 days, so each day that you go, we would push back to give them the 45 days to get it back to us.
And we had not withheld any late entries that came in. We gave them to you as well.
Well, I mean, that hadn't really precluded us. I mean, we're getting them all the way up to the day we pass the budget.
Yeah, we are.
So,
yes, ma'am.
You do, but we also...
We're only sending them to people that we've already funded.
Right.
And those that we have requests for.
And the ones we have requests for. So it's, I mean, they're used to the time frame. I mean, I think they're pretty well used to the time frame. I guess my concern is this form. I got a copy of it because when I got the draft agenda, it had it on there. So I called to ask what was it or why was it back on, because it had failed the floor vote. And I got the copy of the proposed form that we're looking at today. But my concern is that it has not gone, that revision or re-revision did not go back through committee. I'm not on the committee, so, I wouldn't have a vote. But certainly, we've had the current form that we have for the last 3 years. We changed this form 3 years ago. To my knowledge, we've not had any problems with the form. And I'm just, from the old school, if it's not broke, we're trying to fix something that's not broken. Can the process be improved? We can improve a lot of things, but this process that we particularly instituted several years ago has been working. People are doing their accountability reports twice a year. We've not had a problem with that. We've not had a problem with people doing what they said they were going to do with the funds. And I think we're so confident in our process, we've made 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, maybe 10 out of budget appropriations using the same form, upwards to $500,000. So I'm just not really clear on, and maybe we'll discuss this later, on why we're doing really anything to the form at this point. If there's a problem, I'm just not aware of it, that anything even needs to be changed with it. And certainly that it seems to be a rush process, that the last form was not acceptable, and then another form is put together and put back out pretty much in the same manner that the first one was. It wasn't that we came together and discussed, is there a problem with our current form and should we change it? It was like we got a 9-page document saying, look at this and get back with me. It didn't originate in committee. It originated somewhere else and was just then kind of tossed on us. And then when that didn't work, then we got another one pretty much the same way. So I'm just not really sure what we're doing and why it's being done that way, because that's just not the normal way that we've handled the appropriation process, and really pretty much anything else we've done. Try to do it in committee. Thank you.
Mr. Williams.
I think pretty much Commissioner Epperson and Commissioner Lane pretty much echoed my comments regarding our due process and our protocol. We do have a committee, and their job is to come up and work out solutions into the form. We don't need to change it for the sake of change. I inherit this process. When I was here, it was called the Ways and Means Committee. But I'm willing to allow it to go back to where it originated from, back to the committee. That's why we appoint committees, to come up with solution to the form that we have. And I just feel that it would be appropriate to go back to the committee and start all over again. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Lynn?
I would, in respect for what everybody said, and granted, thank you, Erica. Obviously, you did send it out to everybody if Commissioner Lynch received it.
No, sir. I called when it came up on the agenda.
Well, let me
said,
say,
what is this? And, can I get a copy? I requested it.
Commissioner Lynn, I apologize. It was not my understanding that I was supposed to send that email, the form out to each commissioner. I guess I just did not understand that, so I apologize for not getting that out. Yes, Commissioner Lynn called and requested it. Commissioner Johnson also requested and gave him a copy, but I did not email it out to all.
In light of everybody not receiving this, I would just like to move this to the next meeting, if we could just sit on this.
All right. You just move it to
Just
the
move
next
it.
work
Yes.
session?
Yes, and we'll have a committee meeting, and we can decide at the committee meeting whether we want to kill it or
All right, so we will
discuss it.
postpone-
Hopefully, we can improve upon what we have, and you can always do better, and if you have something, hopefully you can make it better, and maybe juvenile detention could use some of these churches, some of these neighborhood churches, and maybe there's a youth that lives a block and a half away from one of these organizations that we fund, and we'll have better information for what they do, and we'll be able to send youth to the neighborhood churches for rehabilitation.
All right, do we have any objections to postponing this until our next work session? Any objections? All right, then we'll do that, we'll postpone it. Let me just make one comment before we finish up here. Please take advantage of the information that we're given before our work session and talk to the commissioner whose resolution or ordinance might be involved, so that we can, we can stay here all night and talk on stuff if that's what y'all want to do. But a lot of these questions can be answered if we'll just call somebody and get the answers. And we have the information sent out to us in plenty of time to be able to do that. So I would ask that we do that. Mr. Cox?
Real quick, Thursday, Mr. Epperson and I don't know what time he's leaving, but we have a police jury association meeting. So I won't be here Thursday for the meeting. So once again, when that item comes up, I would appreciate everybody's vote.
All right, Ms. Lynch?
Well, several things to your comment, Mr. President. One, you have sub-commissioners that really don't time to return phone calls. I'm not going to call any names. And two, we all have lives and other things going on, so I can understand and appreciate that. But two, this is a public body, and there are questions that we can get answered, behind the curtain in regards to some things that are on our agenda. But certainly that does not benefit the public. they don't get the benefit of maybe getting some of the information that we get, and may have particular questions, and may not call for whatever reason. Reach out. It may not be in their particular district that's something that they're curious about, or they may not be as successful in getting in contact with the commissioner as one of their colleague, one of commissioner's colleague would be. And so, I've been asking a lot of questions since I got here in 2004, and I certainly am going to continue to do that, because I think it is important that the public know and understand what we're doing and why we're doing it. I know Todd and Jennifer can tell you, I will have information pulled, just like I called to get the information on the NGO. I also called and got the documentation to support some other things that were on the agenda. Certainly that may not answer my questions, but it does help to get the information. And we've come a long way with getting that a little bit more timely. And I think with the advent of technology, as Commissioner Williams said, we live in a computeristic society. Certainly we will get those documents hopefully a lot faster and through a lot faster medium, the supporting documents. And then we have cases where things are put on the agenda, and it's incumbent also upon the commissioner that's putting certain things on the agenda to talk with their colleagues about it. Because there are a lot of things that pop up on here that you're just not even given the courtesy of an explanation as to what it is. And so that has to come from the floor. So I would hope that we're not we don't come in here and somebody wrote a long blog today saying there wasn't enough discussion. I can't follow what the commission did. How did they, make this vote? Nobody said anything. Of course, he took issue with some of the stuff that was said. But I don't want people to have a blank sheet of paper when it comes to this particular body, that things are just done and they don't have a good understanding of why we're doing what we're doing. So, and I'm just an information-driven person anyway, but that's me. If you don't need that, then, I'm sorry, but I want folks to know what we're doing. I'm not trying to hide what we're doing, and I'm not trying to cover up for what anybody else is doing. So, that's my 2 cents on that. Thank you.
I just refer back to my old high school civics teacher. Prior preparation prevents poor performance.
Absolutely, I agree.
Mr. Hopkins.
Next we have consent agenda.
Ken?
Okay, I'd just like to say on our agenda, at the top, we're streaming live at www.caddo.org, and Adam Carsey and a number of other reporters from newspapers, may not be here, but they be watching online, and they certainly call us individually once we get home and fill their stories out. So we're in a computeristic age.
Somebody put a move for adjournment?
That was good one. Fiber optic computer.